If we were to think of cyberspace as millions of living, breathing organisms that interact and communicate with one another, then the explosion of technology creates an entire new ecosystem whereby malicious organisms become the means by which new economies are born and, unfortunately, flourish. So then the question becomes, in that microcosm of our real world and all of its complexities and dangers, what are the risks? What we at SIEMbolic do is assess those risks to equip insurers with the knowledge necessary to make informed decisions during the underwriting process. So a little bit about who we are. SIEMbolic is a veteran-owned company whose founders are former military and government cyber intelligence, cyber terrorism, and network engineering experts. We hold multiple U.S. patents in technology and security, and we provide cyber risk management, managed security services, and compliance reporting for companies in varying industries. We're headquartered in Cincinnati, Ohio, and leverage the latest in risk management tools and techniques, next-gen malware detection capabilities, attack tree forensics, 24/7 Security Operations Center and Network Operations Center, and an award-winning Security Information and Event Management Platform, or SIEM. Now, you can't talk about risk without incorporating numbers and statistics, and you're going to see a lot of them throughout this short presentation. And when discussing cyber risks, what better place to start than data breaches? So let's take a look at last year's attacks and some numbers associated with them. Now, these are just a few of the thousands of breaches that occurred in 2017, some of which made headlines, others did not. Now, you don't have to commit these to memory, but just make a mental note of the gravity of the dollar values, as we will reference these when we cover our cyber risk management solution. Now, you can see there are some pretty big numbers, as the average cost of a data breach in 2017 was $3.5 million. When the IRS's free application for student aid system was breached, it cost the government and taxpayers $30 million. You may remember when Anthem was compromised. They settled for $115 million. And when you think about it, that was a great deal for Anthem, because the Ponemon Institute estimates the value of a health record to be $380. So if we were to multiply $380 by the 80 million records that were breached in the Anthem breach, their total estimated liability, had they not settled, would have been just north of $30 billion. Now, without question, the largest breach of 2017 was Equifax, as that compromise exposed the records of some 143 million citizens, almost half of the U.S. population. And I'll give a brief Equifax update on the next slide. And you know, it's almost unimaginable that from the time a network is breached until the time that breach is discovered, what is referred to as the dwell time, is 208 days, or approximately 7 months. Now, how much data, intellectual property, personal identifiable information, financial information, etc., can be stolen over the course of 7 months? That's just unacceptable. And what's even more disturbing to us here at SIEMbolic is that once a compromise is discovered after 7 months, it takes almost another 2 months or 52 days to eradicate the threat from the network. This is referred to as the mean time to remediation. And we pride ourselves on the significant reduction of both these numbers to minimize the exposure and mitigate as many risks as possible through our solutions. This is an excerpt from an article by Glenn Fleischman in Fortune magazine regarding the Equifax breach. Now, I won't read it to you, but what I do want you to notice is the reason for the breach. It was due to a failure to use well-known security best practices and a lack of internal controls and routine security reviews. And we'll revisit this again a little later as well. So I thought it was important to take a look at some numbers that will ultimately shape the future of cybersecurity. These numbers will affect cybersecurity jobs, salaries, the tools used, the methods implemented, and other related technologies, processes, and procedures. And the numbers you will see play an important role in the risks that exist within the networks and computing environments of today's companies. Take, for instance, the number of cybersecurity job openings predicted for 2019, 6 million. But notice there's a difference of about 1.5 million people available to fill those positions, as there are predicted to be only 4.5 million qualified cybersecurity experts to fill those 6 million vacancies. So given the law of supply and demand, it's understandable that with the high demand for experts and the accompanying shortage, why security staff make 9% more than other IT staff members, as the median salary for a cybersecurity expert stands at approximately $100,000. But let's not stop at the obstacles making it difficult to protect both consumer and company data. Let's now consider that 43% of small businesses are targeted by phishing attacks yearly, and 29% of small businesses get hit with ransomware. And it's not isolated to small businesses, as we see that 57% of medium-sized businesses are targeted by ransomware as well. And finally, think about the fact that after a compromise, it's approximately 6 months before a small business has to shut down and go out of business due to the expenses associated with that breach. So we've talked about the hundreds of millions of dollars in losses that businesses have experienced and continue to experience due to data breaches. Now those losses will continue to grow, as will the gap between the supply and the demand of qualified experts. And therein lies an opportunity to bridge a gap created between insurers and the insured. And that is, there is a void with respect to the risks that exist within the networks of the insured and the awareness of those risks by the insurers to effectively and accurately underwrite policies. We have taken that opportunity and created a solution that provides insurers with the knowledge needed to issue policies with more confidence, accuracy, and less risk of having to pay out large settlements. And we detail that next. So remember when we were talking about Equifax and the reason for the largest breach of 2017 and probably in history, as reported by Fortune magazine? It was, and I quote, a failure to use well-known security best practices and a lack of internal controls and routine security reviews. Well, here is your security best practices, here is your internal security controls, and here is your routine security reviews. And to top it off, we have over 120 security analysts in our Security Operations Center utilizing those tools to 1. Monitor our customers' environments, 2. Respond to alerts, and 3. Remediate threats 24/7. And while all 3 of our solutions will be beneficial to companies in all industries, including the insurance industry, where we see an opportunity to really add value to your industry is through our essential security solution. For the very reason that we've discussed. Hackers aren't going anywhere. Data theft is a very lucrative business, and as technology continues to advance at the pace that it is, it becomes more difficult for security measures to keep up. Now add to that the shortage of qualified cybersecurity experts, coupled with the high demand for those experts, and the most impactful current trend to insurance companies, as has been reported by several industry experts and publications, is the fact that companies are now opting to purchase cyber insurance in lieu of establishing a robust security posture, because paying the premium is less expensive than investing in the tools and staff of experts to manage them. This is risky behavior for all parties involved. The consumer, whose personal information is now vulnerable to compromise, the company, who is willing to put their reputation and data at risk, and of course, the insurance provider, who will be on the hook to shell out millions of dollars when the breach occurs, and it will occur. So in an effort to serve all parties involved and to hopefully prevent increased premiums due to skyrocketing breaches and their associated payouts and settlements, we offer our security solution to insurance providers to equip them with the knowledge necessary to write policies that are reflective of the true risks within the companies that they insure. Which brings us to the benefits of a partnership with SIEMbolic. As an insurance provider that provides cyber liability insurance to your clients, Having a team of experts who can assess the true cyber risk of your client prior to issuing a policy will equip you with the information necessary to write a policy commensurate with that company's security posture. And as a result, you, the provider, are better protected and will know with certainty what the security posture of your client looks like. This ensures your policies are more accurately written, and a byproduct of an accurately written policy is less risk to you, because you now know your client is following industry best practices. Upon completion of your assessment, you will receive 3 reports: a security risk report, which details all of the cybersecurity risk in the environment, and it calculates an overall risk score that you can use during underwriting. You will also get a report card of the environment. This illustrates the security posture of the environment in the form of letter grades, so it's very easy for you to understand what that environment looks like. From a security standpoint, A is excellent, F is failing. And lastly, remember when I said to keep the gravity of those settlements in mind a few slides back? Well, our data breach liability report compiles statistics from past and current breaches, research from several different institutes specializing in cybersecurity, breaches, and risks, then applies some analytics and algorithms to it, and assigns a monetary value to each risk found in the environment. For the insurer, this is invaluable, as it gives you a dollar amount that you can use when calculating the risk associated with that potential client, and it's based on real, actual industry data. So the next steps would be to set up a consultation to speak in more detail and to see examples of the reports that I just mentioned. You can contact us using the information here, and I'd like to thank you for taking the time to sit through this presentation as we look forward to a strong and lucrative partnership. And again, be sure to drop us a line to set up that consultation, and hope to see you soon.